recognized for your questions.
Thank you so very much, Chair Peters. Whether it's parents shopping for groceries and holiday presents or businesses trying to deliver for their customers, we've all felt the effects of the current supply chain disruptions. And that's why I convened a roundtable last month with Georgians representing the Ports Authority, workers, freight transportation, local small businesses, and big international companies to learn more about the challenges they're facing and to discuss the solutions that they're already implementing. And after that roundtable and many conversations with the White House Supply Chain Disruptions Task Force and the Georgia Ports Authority, we were able to secure $8 million to help alleviate congestion at the Port of Savannah. With these funds, the Georgia Ports Authority is able to partner with railroads to convert existing inland facilities into pop-up container yards. Mr. Regan, I know from your testimony that you are quite familiar with what the Georgia Ports Authority is doing. Could you elaborate on how investing in these pop-up facilities will help relieve dockside congestion and move vessels in and out of ports more quickly, especially when we see these big spikes in container traffic?
Certainly, Senator, and while we know that all the challenges at LA Long Beach have gotten a lot of the headlines, we know that there are a lot of problems in Savannah as well. But these pop-up shops, again, as Mr. Doyle or Mr. Butler mentioned, one of the problems is there's no place to put these containers. So the pop-up areas will allow you to have more areas to put containers so we can start moving them out more quickly. And this is actually an example of an area where the Biden administration has actually provided more flexibility for port operators to be able to use allocated money for more flexible purposes to alleviate the problems that are existing in the supply chain right now. So this is an example where the Biden administration has acted to alleviate, to provide more flexibility and more of an ability for operators to address the problem that they're seeing right now.
Thank you so much. I think these pop-up facilities are a part of the solution, and we're already seeing declines in vessel backlog, dwell time, truck turn times. As a native of Savannah, Georgia, I'm very proud of the port in Savannah, and we want to make sure that we provide capacity so that the port can address the current supply chain issues. Mr. Butler, in your testimony, you mentioned the lack of landside capacity at U.S. ports as one of the causes for the congestion that we're seeing. Do you think increased federal investments in port and multimodal freight infrastructure will help ease congestion and build up that necessary capacity to handle increased ocean shipping traffic long term?
Senator, long term, it's absolutely has to be beneficial to have that increased investment. There's no question about it.
Can you say more about that?
Well, you asked your question in terms of long term, and I think that's appropriate. And this goes a little bit to something I said to Senator Scott, that the short term is really an operational situation that we all have to work together throughout the supply chain to try to solve. And it's every handoff from the ship to the port, from the port to the railroad, to the warehouse. All of that is saturated. So we have to work through all of that. But having said that, for the long term, if each of those points in the supply chain is more robust from better investment, then it all works better, right, when you get pushed with a situation of congestion like we have today.
These investments, as you point out, are critical, and that's why I was proud to support Georgia Port Authority's successful infra grant application for nearly $47 million to build the Northeast Georgia Inland Port in Hall County. And that's one reason I push for increased funding for port projects and multimodal grant projects in the bipartisan infrastructure package. I look forward to working with you, with the administration, to get these investments out to Georgia as soon as possible. Thank you so much.